The journey has actually only just begun, and the best is yet to come. It's the moment in which you will fully step into what your dreams are. What are your dreams? You know, where do you see yourself in a year from now? What are your markers? Where do you see yourself in 2 years from now? Where do you see yourself in a month from now? It's so important to have those checkpoints so that you know what road you are traveling. Now, what does it take to be creative in an industry where there are millions of people who are talented, but not everyone's talented the same, not everyone's skilled the same. So again, I'm gonna say, what is your skill set? What are you good at? Capitalize on that while you're working on your weaknesses. Don't ever expose your weaknesses. Keep your strengths at the forefront while you are working on your weaknesses. Professionalism in our industry is absolutely everything. Back in the day, we could afford to be divas, throw little tantrums. Now it's everyone is skilled because everyone is leveling up. Everyone is putting in the work. Everyone is trying to be better all the time. And so eventually, at the end of the day, people go, well, who's easier to work with? Who's going to give us the same quality, but with absolute ease? When you're working on a set for a long time, no matter what position you hold, it's so important that there is a synergy on set. It doesn't help that you're shooting for 3 months, you're filming for 3 months, and it's uncomfortable, it's uneasy. So also check yourself. Who are you when you step onto set? Are you easy to work with? And yes, you're allowed to ask questions, and yes, you're allowed to be inquisitive, but know your time and your place, you know? Also, when people have been on set for a long time, learn from them in a way that doesn't make you a know-it-all, because I also know that there are a couple of institutions, I'll put an S on that, that if a crew hears that a particular artist is coming from those institutions, they're like, oh, they're gonna walk on the set and think they know it all. Let me tell you something, knowledge is nothing without guidance. And now in your career, you need guidance to pair that knowledge and to take you to the next level. I'm gonna say this again, knowledge is nothing without guidance. You need the guidance of people who have been in the industry. So humble yourself, receive the guidance. It's not about being better than they are, it's being your best version. I also want to say, when you're networking in this industry, please don't be a kid. I don't know if I'm allowed to say I am. People pick up from a mile away, and all you look like is someone who's desperate to get their foot in the door. I wouldn't want to be that. Integrity is absolutely important in this industry. So stand tall. If you want to set up a meeting with someone, get their number, get their email, and have some kind of dignity in how you approach that. It's not about networking for your benefit, because the other person will just end up feeling used. And I want to stress this, professionalism is absolute key. Know what you're doing, be on your game, be ready so you don't have to get ready. Lastly, in this part, our industry is riddled with drugs, with alcohol, with shortcuts to be creative. And that's really all it is. It's a shortcut to be creative. That means that you have stepped outside of yourself to highlight what already exists inside of you. Yes, it's a little bit harder to do it sober. Yes, it's a little bit harder to hear that beat better, to act that line better, to be out of your skin, to have no inhibitions. But I would much rather take the harder road and know that everything I need, I've relied on, comes from within me. I didn't need to reach outside of myself. I really want to urge you, it becomes a crutch for your creativity, because the day that you have to step away from that, and trust me, one day you will have to step away from it, it's so disorientating. So rather learn to work hard now, work the harder way now. Don't buy into the hype, because all it is a shortcut. It's a cheat. It's an absolute cheat. Stay centered in yourself, search yourself, do the necessary internal work that you need to do to create the best product. I also wanted to actually, now it's just come up for me, I wanted to say, you know, it's okay for us to be inspired by what we consume. So if I like a certain artist, to watch their work. If I don't like a certain director and editor, a score, someone who scores music. If I like any of what someone else does, it's important that I am inspired by it, yes, but it is crucial that I don't copy it. Because all you are then is a watered down version of an original. It's very important. If you want to leave your mark in this industry, do not become watered down Ross. It's the most boring flavor in the world. So be inspired by the content you consume out there. Be inspired by other creatives and artists, but don't ever be a copy. So now that you are officially in the creative field, you've done all the paperwork and all the slogging. People seem to think that once you've studied, then you've done all the work. The beautiful, not rude, the beautiful awakening is that there is still so much more ahead of you. And as you grow, and as you bloom, and as you flourish, you'll realize just how this journey is continual all the time. I mean, myself as a performer, I still go to acting classes. I still make sure that I clean up, that I try and keep myself just a little bit ahead of being complacent. I don't like complacency personally. I'm someone who drives quite hard. And in our entertainment industry, it's so important that you have that, because innovation is everything. Can you think out of the box? Can you create something that someone may not have thought of or thought of but couldn't bring to life? What is your narrative in the industry? That's such an important thing. What is your narrative? What are you saying? What do you stand for? What do you want your content to serve as? And in turn, how do you want that content to serve you? So at the moment, when you look at content all over the place, be it music, be it TV, in any creative space, what is interesting is that everyone is pushing boundaries. The stories we used to tell before were so conservative and so collective and very pretty and very trimmed, very nice. And now we're going, no, we actually have real stories other than just political stories to tell. We have more stories. South Africans have lives. So look at yourself also as a global voice. What does the world need to know about us? What does the world? South Africa is just a country you live in, but really you live in the world. And what I love about our industry is that us as creatives, we can really live in the world because the whole world is ours. We can tell stories from all over the world. All the world wants to know what our stories are, or what our music is, or what creative input we'd like to put out there. Make sure that your work impacts positively. The thing I like the most about the creative space is collaborations. This is a biggie at the moment. So you have strengths and someone else has strengths. Wouldn't it be the smartest thing to play off of each other's strengths? Collaboration is absolute key right now. Work in partnerships with people. If you can, make sure that, when you work in this partnership, that what you are creating together has something to say about who you are overall. There's no big king, big chief, not where you are now. Make sure that when you plan it out, know where you're going to get your funding. It's one thing to have the creative side sorted out. What does the business side say? And if that's somewhere where you need help, look for a mentor, someone to mentor you through the business side of it. Because really, at the end of the day, you can make the most beautiful content. If the content doesn't move, your stomach doesn't eat. And I just want to say this too. Sometimes in life, your tummy will be starved for your soul to be fed. Sometimes you'll do projects that they don't pay as well in the monetary sense, but they pay on a soul level. Really be discerning about that. Be discerning. Don't just gun for the fame. It's so short-lived, because you might be in your 20s now. In 10 years from now, someone who's in their 20s is going to be the next it thing. Be your it thing. Be the it thing that is you. Stay away from the fame. It's a facade. People put it on. Again, in the beginning I said, always ask yourself, who am I and what do I bring? Now, never forget that who you are is as important as what you do. So be a brilliant creative, but also be a great human. That when you walk on any set or onto any, whatever it is, any workspace that you walk into, that people are able to go, hey, yeah, I'm so excited you're here. Instead of like, oh, he's here, we have to work with him, or she's here, ugh, let's just get it done. Who you are is as important as what you do. Be brave, be courageous, stand tall, have integrity and dignity. And remember, if you don't play, you can't win.